I wanted to do a quick introduction to the video that you're about to see. This is a video in which I show you how I painted the glove compartment door of an old Ford pickup truck. There's a story behind it. My brother Bob passed away. He was in an accident and he died. He was 66 years old. His nephew, our nephew, Chad, my brother's name was Bob, by the way. So Bob died, and Chad, my brother didn't have any children. Chad is maybe in his 40s, I'm not sure. But Chad is probably the closest of all the kids. I know he's not a kid, but you know what I mean, from our perspective. Anyway, so Bob and Chad were close. So it made sense that Chad, because Bob's death wasn't expected, obviously, it was an accident. So it was up to my brother Bill and my brother Tom and I to make a decision about who would get some of the things that my brother left behind. And Chad is a car guy. He likes cars, and so it made sense for him to get the truck. Anyway, he wanted to remember his uncle, and he asked his other uncle, me, one of his other uncles, if I would paint Bob's portrait on the glove compartment door. And so I did. I'm looking at myself in this picture here. It looks like I'm looking to the side. Anyway, so that's what you're about to see. You're about to see the way I, the process I used to paint the glove compartment door, and everything I'm explaining right now probably is already explained. This is an old video, a couple years old. I originally uploaded this on another YouTube channel I have called The Art and Illustrations of Larry Whittler, but now I'm Papa. See, so so Papa Paints is where this painting belongs. All right, well, I hope you enjoy it, and if you like what I'm doing here, I would appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Liking, let me know what you think, what you like, and here comes the video. This is a glove compartment door to a Ford pickup truck that my nephew, Chad, inherited from my brother Bob. Bob passed away in 2019, and Chad asked me to paint a picture onto the cover here of his uncle Bob. Bob and Chad were close, and so I've never done anything like this, so I'm going to document it with the video, okay? First I got to do is sand it down, I think. I'm winging this. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I got one of these to sand it down. So I'm gonna do that, sand it down, and then put some primer on it, and paint it. And then put a glaze, enamel glaze over it, okay? All right, that's the plan. The rubbing it down with that sand sponge definitely brought the shine, the glossiness. It's definitely not glossy anymore. I don't know if you can tell, but it's definitely dull and sanded down. Next step, look, I got powder on my shirt from the paint. Next step is to clean it with vinegar, and I got it in the sink. So here we go. Okay, now I'm gonna spray this onto that. Change hands there so I can see what I'm doing. It's gonna be gray, which is good actually, because that'll make it a nice surface to paint on. Right, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the acrylic gesso on there and spread it around so that it's better for the acrylic paint that's gonna be on there. the picture's going to be made with. Here we go. That's good enough. Just gonna spread that around. Spread it on everything and let it dry. Okay, let's get started with the painting. So I have the I have white and 2 different shades of blue. The blue is, let's see, what is this one called? This one is called cerulean blue or something. The white is titanium white, and the other blue is called primary blue. Primary blue. It's all acrylic, and up here is my iPad. I have up there, let me show you, the reference photo for the background. I'm going to use an easy background scene, like a sunset in the desert with a Joshua tree. I don't know if you can see it on there. There's a Joshua tree on the picture there. And so my plan is to put Bob here, and the rest of it is basically just this. So let's just get started. It looks like it's going to be just a little bit of blue, and just get the blue and mix the white with it. And let's just get started. I'm putting it on the what is now a canvas. Used to be a glove compartment lid, which nobody ever puts gloves in their glove compartment. I don't know if you never noticed that. All right, so I'm just going to paint, and you guys watch. Okay, now let's add the other colors. I put them on my paper, my plastic plate, and basically it's yellows and oranges and browns. Burnt umber and raw umber are those two. The rest are oranges and yellows. Joshua tree. I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't have a reference photo. I'm just gonna kind of do it from memory. So I got the picture done. No, I haven't. Because right here has to be my brother Bob, Chad's Uncle Bobby. Well, I could do the portrait freehand, or I could trace it. So this is what I'm gonna do. I just want to show you how I'm doing it, because capturing a likeness right now is probably more important than having a pretty picture. And so what I did is I took a picture of Bob. It's hard to see on there, but there's a tracing, and I'm going to put charcoal on the back of this, and then I'm going to lay it on there, and then I'm going to draw over it. Not the whole thing, just so I know where the eyes are, where the mouth is, so everything's in the right place. And then I'm going to paint it, and I'll show you that too. But I just wanted you to know how I'm doing the likeness. Because like I said, you know, I could take a crack at it, or I could give myself a little shortcut, and I chose the shortcut because it's kind of important. So, okay, so here's the tracing I did with Bob. I'll see if you can see it, and I'm gonna turn it over. And on the back of it, I'm gonna use the charcoal, and I'm gonna put charcoal all over the back. Every place there's a line. And then I'm not going to hold the camera and do this at the same time. It's kind of hard. So, but I want to show you. So that charcoal right there will be on the other side of this. You see, and then I can draw the lines. Whoops! I can draw the lines. This is hard to do. On the lines, you see? And then it'll push through to the surface of the painting. So, you understand what I'm doing? Okay, good. All right. I'm gonna come back when I'm done with that. So that's the back now. That's all the charcoal on the back of the tracing I did. And I'm gonna there's the painting that I've done, the background. And I'm gonna turn the paper over, see? And then I'm going to draw on the lines, and hopefully they will transfer to the painting. I'll be able to then know where everything is, so I can then paint it. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the camera off again. Okay, now I drew real, very basic drawing, and I want to show you when I pull it up. I have the drawing where I want it to be on the. You can't see it in the dark, but I can see it. You can't see it in the camera. There it is. See, I can see where his lips are, where his eyes are, so that everything's in the right place. Because the likeness of a person is so fragile. You can mess up a likeness just by putting something in the wrong place. And I want this to be right. So there's Bob, and now I'm gonna paint him. So let me show you what we're doing now. I came inside, and I'm gonna do the hardest part, the part I'm most nervous about, which is Bob. Now there's Bob right there. Robin's holding the camera. Thank you, Robin. And you see where I traced the face. You can't see it in the dark, but I can see it if I go on an angle. But anyway, so I know where everything goes. That's kind of half the battle. If you look over here, there's the reference photo. That's what I'm going to use to paint from. And I've chosen this size brush. Let me show you the brush. Because watch when I push it down on the it's just enough to get the areas, just enough to get the areas around his eyes where there's going to be color. There's going to be color there and there. You see, he's a very fair-skinned person, and so there's not a whole lot of like dark lines like a lady would have eyeliner and stuff like that. So when another thing I want to do is I want to use this. Which is Gloss Super Heavy Gel. Okay? Now the reason I'm using this is not for the reason it's advertised. It's advertised to make acrylic look a little bit more like oil. But that's not the reason I'm using it. I'm using it so it slows down the drying time. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit, and then Robin's gonna turn off the camera, and then we'll come back on a little bit. I'm going to use these acrylics that Robin gave me they're actually Robin's, from Artist Loft. It's a kind of a cheap brand, but that's okay. This is burnt sienna. If I wasn't talking to you, I would just call it brown or orange brown. And I think it's a good, look at Bob's complexion. You'll see that's why I chose that color. You see, it's not too different. See? And then a little bit of white to lighten it up, because he's not all one color. And I'll probably have to have some reds in there also. And what's interesting is that a person has blue in their face, even though you don't see it. But I have a backdrop here from the painting underneath it. Some of that's going to play a role also. So I just have to be careful. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to mix a little bit of the gel with the burnt sienna and a little bit of white. And that might not be good enough. I think I need a little bit of yellow added to that. So I got to get his skin tone close anyway. Get it close to his skin tone. And this stuff over here helps it stay liquid. Otherwise, it's not good. All right, so there's the color. That looks like Bob's color. All right, now I'm gonna start putting it on. And right away I'm gonna know it's either light or dark, and it's light. you see? But it also looks a little yellowish to me, but that's okay, because I can add some red to it. He was a red-headed guy, and so was I. There, that's a little better. Now, it might not look right at first, but the idea is to get some paint down and then work from there. You have to have clay on the table before you can mold it into anything, right, Robin?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna put the camera away. I'm gonna work on this while we're watching a movie. And this might take a couple hours and I don't wanna bore you, but trust me, all I'm doing is putting paint down to match what I'm looking at over here on the reference photo. And when we come back, hopefully I have a nice portrait of my brother Bob. Okay? All right, now I can get to work. Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
There's almost finished. The last thing I have to do is spray it with a clear coat and then send it back to my nephew in Tennessee. And he'll put it into the truck where it will live for the rest of its time. It's hard to get my brother's likeness. That was the hard part. And it was a couple things I wasn't getting right. I wasn't getting his eyes right, and I wasn't getting his hair right. And it just goes to show that when you get something the tiniest little bit wrong, you know right away it's not that person. But I think now it looks like my brother and my nephew will think that looks like his uncle, I hope. Anyway, so there you go. That's the documented video of how I painted the glove compartment door for the Chevy. Sayonara.